Welcome to the John Harrison Podcast. Statistics show us that about 70% of people are disengaged in the workplace. Obviously, that affects bottom lines of companies, individual, their own engagement at work, but also affects families and communities. We don't want to just be frustrated about things that are going on in the workplace or in the world. We want to do something about it. So we're going to talk about this while others aren't, and we hope you will join us on this journey.
Welcome back to the John Harrison Podcast. This is Madeline Baker, and I've got Jason Stone and Melissa Dunn from our team, and then a very special guest, Saundra from Water Tech. She drove all the way here to Conway from the Fort Smith area to be on this episode, and we are so grateful that she's here. If you listened to the last episode we did, or if you haven't, you should go listen to it because we had a great conversation about hiring people, kind of red flags to look for, and she talked a lot about Water Tech and how they do things in their hiring process. So today we're going to talk about kind of the first 90 days after you hire that individual and why a lot of companies fail at onboarding. Specifically, I think Saundra is a great person to talk about this, and you can tell us about your 1% turnover, which is amazing. But I'm just going to kick it off to her to give us a brief background if you didn't listen to that last episode of who you are and whatnot.
Well, good morning. I'm Saundra Cooksey. I'm the Director of Human Resources at Water Tech in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'm happy to be here. I've been in the business for probably about 30 years in the HR realm, but with Water Tech since 2022. And we're just very passionate about what we do. We talked about culture in our last episode, but everything that we do around Water Tech, it's the core of it's our culture, and that's really what that's key. That's really what we lean to every conversation. It seems like that we have, well, whether we have corporate meetings, get-togethers, whatever, culture always comes up in that, and I love it. Yeah. But that helps us kick off with our new hires. We start off on the right foot. We talk about our culture, and we live it. We breathe it every day, and I think that's what makes us different.
Yeah,
you know.
So you've been there since 2022. I'm curious, before you got there, was there like a more formalized onboarding process, or is that something that you guys have kind of created together in the last 3-4 years?
I think they had a good footprint of it. I think we've honed it maybe a little bit just since I've been there, but I think the bones were already there. I think they were doing some of these things, but I think we've just tried to elevate what we're doing and be really inclusive of those first few days and stay really close with that new hire the first week especially. We're not just turning them loose. Oh, here's your paper instructions, go do your job. That's not who we are. We assign you a trainer. You have a buddy. You're going to go to work every day and you're going to see this person. They're going to follow you around. Especially I can specifically speak to our truck driving staff. We assign a new truck driver. I don't care if they've had 30 years in the business or they've had 2 years in the business. They get 2 weeks of seat time with our trainers.
Why do y'all do that?
Because we think it's that important. We want good customer service. It doesn't matter if you're a truck driver, one of our warehouse staff, our office staff. We provide good customer service. We have account managers in the field who build relationships with customers, and it may take them 5 years to get a customer on board with us, but it can take one bad experience by having a bad hire to ruin a 5-year relationship. And we have to have that right person going to see and deliver the product, and they build a relationship with our driver. These customers build those relationships. That person is customer service. They see that truck driver more than they see their account manager. That's super important. So we want that Water Tech way. We want to deliver that secret sauce in our people so that when they get there, they are on fire and they know that, hey, this is Water Tech. Who am I going to meet today? It may be a different driver, but guess what? They all have a great attitude when they get there.
Yeah, the experience is going to be very similar because you've trained them all the same way.
Yes,
and I find it so interesting that y'all put so much emphasis on relationships, even with the truck drivers, because a lot of times it gets honed in on safety or processes and procedures, how to tie down something, how to empty a tank, what do you do with this hose when you're finished, how do you clean it? You get down to the brass tacks and logistics of the technical pieces of the job. But a lot of times organizations fail on emphasizing the importance of relationships in those jobs, because it's about their image and their understanding of the culture and expectations and the delivery in those relationships. So
right.
I love that y'all do that.
Well, we do love it, and it has proven very effective, and it does help with our turnover. They feel like, hey, I'm out here by myself now. I've graduated from my trainer. I'm out by myself. I'm truck driving on my own, and I have a question. And I can go back to my trainer and say, hey, I've got this one little question. Can I ask you? The answer is absolutely yes. We want it done right every single time. But safety is first and foremost. You know, we make sure that we have the proper PPE, obviously, for every single job that we do. But that is very important, is having that relationship, whether it's with their dispatcher, who is very wonderful, by the way, or their driver supervisor, or the back office team. Everyone in the transportation department is just wonderful. They are ready to help those new people.
That's awesome.
And we have people who've been there 20, 25 years, and then we have people who've been there 2 years.
Well, truck drivers kind of get a rap too in like the abrasiveness and gruffness of who they are and some of the experiences that they've had, rightfully so, right? It kind of builds, that thick skin, so to speak.
Right.
But I think the fact that you guys partner them with a mentor, a formalized process, it helps to make a different impression on them relative to the engagement that you expect with the client,
Right.
but also what you expect internally.
That's right.
So it goes back to that culture guide piece. And I know you guys have a formalized culture guide, which is fantastic, but you start with that through the interviewing process, but you execute it through the onboarding process.
That's right.
You mentioned, I think on the last podcast, that you bring the CEO in and the president in, and you have interactions with them. Can you tell us a little bit about how you bring that culture, I guess, kind of to life through the onboarding process? You talked about the mentoring, but how do even the senior leaders in your organization help drive that home relative to the expectations, but also what you expect from the supervisors, the frontline supervisors, and driving that culture home?
Well, that frontline supervisor is going to be in step with that new employee. They might have a trainer, but then they also have their supervisor, and that supervisor has them programmed in their cell phone. They call them, they check, they text. They are in constant communication, and to the point where, hey, I've got a child. They have a ball game. Can I, if I come and work early at 3 a.m., could I get off early to go to that ball game? Yeah. We have that kind of rapport because of the relationship that's built at the front end. These people know that they have a supervisor who's going to listen. We talk about that in our culture guide. We're here to listen. We have an open door. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear your ideas. And because we are family oriented, we want to hear, how did that ball game go? I know that you got off last night a little bit early to go to that. You got all your work done. You had a successful day. You got to go home and enjoy your ball game, and you didn't have to stress about your job.
Right.
You got to go enjoy. We have to create a work-life balance. And that starts with our culture. We set forth our expectations. We show you that we are different in the first few weeks that you're here. And they see it. They work alongside people that they've had wonderful experiences while working with us. They share that on the daily. They see it, then they experience it for themselves. And then that's the proof. They know that, hey, you know what? They did the same thing for me. And I appreciate that. I was able to go. I didn't have to worry about my job. Got up the next day, and here we are again. Everything, the customer got satisfied. They received their product, or hey, they got that shipment out, or hey, they got the letter they were waiting on, or the quote, or whatever they're working on. That happened. And I was still able to go enjoy my family. That work-life balance that means something. But we also have accountability, right? We listen, but we also have to have accountability. And we have to get the job done, and we have to be professional. We have to be safe. We have to do things the right way, and we want it done the water tech way. We may say, we understand that we'll use the truck driver experience. You may have 15 years of truck driving, but we want you to do it the water tech way. We have certain things and techniques or whatever that we have that makes us so special. We have that here, and we want you to learn it.
Yeah.
So have y'all had that mentoring process in place for a long time, or did the mentoring process come about as a correction maybe to a gap in communication?
No, I really think it's been there all along.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Because how are you going to get the job done right if you don't see someone else doing it? You know, the hoses do have to be hooked correctly to the truck or the pump off or going to the tank, and you have to make sure your paperwork is right. And like I told you in our business, we haul chemical, and we have to make sure that the chemical is being placed in the proper receptacle. It can't be placed in a different chemical, right? Because then that's not good.
Right.
So we want to make sure what we do is 100% each and every time. And to get that experience, you're going to ride along. Then you're going to learn it. And then guess what? You're going to drive, and we're going to monitor you to make sure your processes match what we've shown you. So learning by doing is very important. Yeah. And no matter what role you're in.
Yeah.
Have you had much pushback with that? Like, you know, if maybe you hire an employee and they feel like it's more micromanaging, or they have had those 30 years of experience already truck driving. I guess that would probably be a red flag.
It would be a red flag because, again, we don't want people to say, well, I already know what to do. You don't need to teach me this. I know what to do. Well, while we may agree with you because we hired you for your experience and your know-how, we still want to show you our way. That's important to us. That is our image. That is who we portray to our customers, to our community, and we want it done a certain way. And we may agree with that you have 15 years, but you know what? We still want to go over this. It may be repetitive to you, but it's important to us.
Yeah.
And if you want to be valued at the job, then you're going to go through our process. And you know what? We never get any kickback on that, really. I think that the pushback really, they're happy to have a job. They're happy to have a work home. And they don't want to get off on the wrong foot, so they're happy to do it. You know what? Guess what? At the end of that, they've learned something.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? I have done this for 15 years, but you know what? You taught me something a little bit different today.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. That's what we're here to do. Even if it's one little tiny thing that we've done to train you on something, and they got something out of it, we don't mind if it's the size of a grain of salt. You learn something.
Right.
You learn something. That just makes us all better. We can learn something new every day.
Yeah. You know, and we have a variance of sized organizations that we work with and that probably listen to this podcast. So I want to kind of take it back to like smaller company, medium-sized companies, because you guys have moved from a medium to a large-sized company, I would say. And so, you know, for smaller companies, just trying to figure out onboarding and what that looks like, right? Sometimes they get caught in the trap of having onboarding just being a one-time event. So it might be a half a day. You fill out your new hire paperwork. Here's your benefits. Here's the safety rundown in an hour or less sometimes.
Right.
Go to work, right? So you guys do a really good job of avoiding that trap, and you hit the pause button early on to make sure that the onboarding process is not just a process. It is an experience relative to the culture. We talked about this a little bit on the previous podcast, but you have a 3-week, 6-week, 9-week touch basis. It's a variance of questions back and forth between the supervisor and the employee. And there's an accountability piece to that they interact with you guys with HR on those and keep in touch about the overall performance and behaviors of the person. But I'm curious, even sometimes, you know, that 3, 6, 9-week touch base can begin to be a lullaby, kind of a thing that you go through, right? How do you keep that onboarding mentality going past that 90 days? How do you keep that fire, so to speak, so that you don't lose the connection with the person?
Well, we're excited, number one, to have found the right person, and that's hard, right? You don't want just a warm body. You don't want someone with a pulse. You run somebody through the door, and I've been at places where you run somebody in the door, but you really got to have them in that job. Here you go. We've got you signed on the dotted line. Jump to it. We don't really want to do that. We want you to stay here, and we believe that by spending the extra time and taking that extra time, even though we may need you so badly, we want to take that extra time because it's that important to us that we train you right, get off on the right foot, invest the time properly to where we see the fruits of that on down the line, and it works. It's worked every time. If it hasn't, we just didn't have the right fit, you know. But we, with that 1% turnover ratio, we really don't experience that a whole lot. Most people retire, but for those new hires that come on board, we do want to spend that time. We spend a day doing HR tasks. We do your onboarding. We make sure you have your apps on your phone. We have a great IT team. They jump through hoops to get the proper equipment for the employee. If equipment's, you know, a laptop, a cell phone, they're Johnny on the spot. They get it done, they have it ready, and they're happy, and they make them feel at home. They come in the door. They even make our employees feel at home. Every person who touches that new employee on day one, they're on fire. They come in with a smile. Hey, how you doing? And they're like, oh, well, great. And it kind of, whoo, you know, and everybody takes a part. Everyone takes value in bringing that new hire on board and letting them know how excited they are to be there.
Yeah.
And they see that. You can't manufacture that. That's a feeling, and that's coming from someone's heart, and they're sharing their experience too. It's not just HR. And it takes every single cog in the wheel, whether it's our IT team, it's our safety team, it's our HR team, it's a hiring manager, the training buddy. We all want them to know they're welcomed here, and we want them here. We don't want to zoom you through everything and we've missed something very integral that you needed, benefit for your family, or something, some kind of questions you need answered specific to yourself. We want to make sure that we've addressed those on day 1 and 2. Then make sure if you have any questions thereafter, please come back. But our orientation day consists of HR day 1. We take you on board, sign all the necessary documents. We onboard you. We make sure you have your app on the phone that you need for payroll and such. But we take the time out to have a special lunch on day 1. Our president, our CEO, our COO, our vice president of operations, the hiring manager, and HR team, we all go to lunch. We take that hour and a half out of the day, and we say, we want to get to know you. HR has already got to know you. Now we've introduced you to the team, and we're going to have a roundtable discussion over lunch. Let's take a moment. Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you like to do. Do you like to go fishing? Do you like to go hunting? Do you like to go, to the lake with your family? Do you like to go to Disney World? I mean, what do you like to do? Tell us about you. We do that because it is. We know them by their name. They're not a number with us. Day 2 is safety training. We spend a minimum of 4 hours of safety training with each employee because of the nature of our business. And we want them to come to work safe and to leave safe. So we think it's super important to do that. Our safety record is impeccable, and we want to keep it that way. So that's why we do continual training. So we think it's important. Then we move on to 369. That's what we call it at work. At WaterTech, it's a 369. Then we graduate those weeks. We do touch points, and then we have a 90-day. And then at the end of this, at the end of this process, we know if we have a star employee. Refer to our culture guide. Or do we have some more work to do? Is it the relationship salvageable, or is it not? Is it time to separate ways? We don't like to do that. We don't have to do it very much, as you can see by our turnover ratio, but we want the right person on board because that's the future of WaterTech.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously with the VIP way, the second box is having a robust hiring process. And we probably spent the first 15 minutes or so, 12 or 15 minutes of this conversation before the word orientation ever came up. And I think that's important to note because in developing a robust hiring process, it goes so much further past just an orientation. Orientation is basically the first day signing new hire paperwork, in my opinion. But you guys have kind of excluded that and not separated that on purpose. And you refer to it holistically as your onboarding process, which takes days, weeks, months. I would say it kind of never ends, honestly, because if you have an organization where you are developing your people along the way and you're training them appropriately, then you're going to know you have the right person, right? From how they're taking to some of that mentoringship or different training or different opportunity. and they may want to go do something different within your organization. So then you have to kind of hit the pause button again, right? And you go back into a training or onboarding type of situation. And it's just this evolution of a process that continues. It falls in line with the VIP way in the fact that, you're setting expectations regardless of whether it's when they first walk in the door or if it's a promotion or a new role. You're going to do all those things. You're going to set the expectations regardless. You're going to have a robust hiring process, which includes some form of an orientation to that role. You're going to train them each and every time, and then you're going to continue to hold them accountable. And all of that may look different from year 1 to year 25, but you're continuously in that process is the point.
Well,
and you guys do that well.
Well, thank you very much. We do think it's important, and we invest the time, Melissa. And I'll say one more thing. We not only set expectation at the interview because we need to know if we're getting that right person. We let them know, hey, this is our culture, number one. We talk about that first. Here's the job, and here's what we offer, and here's, so we talk through that. But to set that, we go even further on that orientation day, because how many people or how many companies do you know that hand someone the employee handbook and say, well, here's your stack of papers, and you just take those home and you read those when you have a moment. We take the time to go over our handbook. Okay, we go over the culture guide. We page by page, we go over the culture guide. Then we go over specifically our employee handbook.
And they're different things.
They're different things, but here's our culture, and here's how we operate that culture through our handbook, right? So we do that, and we verbalize that on day one. Are your ears about to fall off after day one? 100%. But guess what? Expectation has been set.
Yeah.
You know the rules of the road. Here's our culture to abide by. And if everyone would live out that culture guide, and if everyone lives out that handbook, A+. We know we've hit it.
That's the star employee.
That's it. That's a star employee. But we take that time. And do they feel like they're information overload at the end of the day? Oh, absolutely. But it's very much worth it, because though they can take it home and read it, we verbalized it to them. And they now know how many sick days they have. They now know, hey, if my family gets sick or if I get sick, what's my procedure? How do I go about asking for my day off? Or what do I need to do? What do you need from me? And we set that out first day one.
And they'll be able to come day 2 and have a refreshed, wow, I realize this company's different.
Yes.
They care.
That's right, Madeline. And they know that we've invested that time. And we do that for every employee we hire.
It doesn't matter if it's a frontline, if it's a
matter.
Lower level, higher level. It sounds like it does not matter.
It doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same. We don't rubber stamp it because everyone is different, and what applies to one may not apply to the next person. But we still deliver the rules. We still deliver the culture guide. We still go over these things because it's that important. We think we have a very robust benefit package for our employees. We've revised a lot of things that really make it more beneficial to our employees. We've done some improvements. I think that we've made some excellent improvements, but those are things that tell the employee that we value you. We are looking out for you because we do have wonderful benefits. And so we take the time to go over those. I've had people come into my office, even to this day, with tears in their eyes, and they say, do you remember the day you onboarded me? I'll say, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, I do. Well, do you remember when you explained this benefit to me? Yes, I remember that day. And do you remember that I didn't know much about it, but I trusted you enough that I said, you know what, I think I need to check the box on that, and I need that benefit. And they choose the benefit. And then unbeknownst, down the road, something will happen. And then they come back and they say, you know what? I just came by your office for a minute. I had a moment out of my day, and I want to tell you thank you. And that to me, I've done my job. And it's not just a job, it's a passion. And we've helped our employee. We've gained their trust. We told them on day one how we were. We told them our culture, but this is culture coming to life because it's a real life something that happened to them. and it came back around. And that's what it means to take care of your employee. But we set that on day one. We've told them, we're here for you, good, bad, and the ugly. Right. We're here for you, and we want you to know that, and we will listen to you. We're not going to air your business, but we're here to help you with your business if you need us. Right. And let us do that. Let us take that off your shoulders and help you if we can.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So Madeline, two major takeaways I had from this would be culture. It's not a one-day thing. Yep. It's ongoing every day. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is don't assume that experienced hires don't need training, right? And so they're going to need training in your organization to your standards, right? To what you expect of them. So that was two major things I heard from there.
That's so good. And man, I can just hear the passion in your voice every time you talk, Saundra. We're just so blessed that you're here with us today. And we wanted to do this episode because we had looked up some statistics, and we use Gallup a lot in our trainings. We talk about the disengagement numbers and how many people are disengaged at work. But I had found a statistic on Gallup for the U.S. saying that only 12% of employees feel their company does a great job onboarding, which means 88% is saying that their company does not do a good job onboarding, which is crazy. And you hear about how terrible turnover is in the U.S. And so I think this episode was very needed, and I hope that the listeners y'all got something out of this. And Saundra, just thank you again for being here.
Well, thank you for the invitation. It's been a wonderful blessing to be here and to sit with you guys today. And thank you. It's an honor. I appreciate it. I hope it helps someone along the way. Obviously, if someone needs to reach out, I'm happy to help or to take a phone call. So I'm happy to help someone through their day. I'm happy to do that. Do we get it right 100% of the time? No, Madeline, but we do try 100% of the time to do that right.
Right, exactly.
So, but we do try. We do try. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for being willing, truly, because I know it was a drive down here for you as well, but we're honored to have you here and just have your input, because you guys have a lot of depth and breadth in the discussion topics that we've had, particularly onboarding. I truly was just amazed listening to you talk the very first time I met you. So the passion is there, but I think that it's evident that it extends way past you. I mean, it's very deep in your organization.
It is.
And I truly love that.
It is. Well, I'm blessed. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and it's an honor. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank y'all. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us today on the John Harrison Podcast. As you know, we believe that a positive work culture creates a ripple effect that extends into families and communities. If you found anything of value in today's episode, please share it with somebody so they can hear it as well. And if you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please fill out the form below.